Today, we're going to talk about something, well, something deeply human. What happens when your unwavering loyalty is met with just devastating betrayal? I mean, really think about it. You pour your heart into something, a job, a cause, a person. You sacrifice, you give everything you've got because you truly believe it matters. And then you find out a truth that just hits you like a punch to the gut. And we're not talking about some stranger, right? This is from someone you respected, someone you trusted, maybe someone you would have done anything for. And in that moment, all of a sudden, you're just left there asking yourself, was any of that real? Did my loyalty mean anything at all? That feeling of confusion, that quiet heartbreak, man, if you've been there, you know just how deep that wound can go. But here's the thing you have to know. If you felt that, you are absolutely not alone. This feeling, this kind of pain, is actually part of a story that's as old as time. And one of the most powerful tellings of that story, it comes from an ancient battlefield. It's the story of a soldier who lived this experience in the most extreme way imaginable. His name was Uriah. So who was this guy, Uriah? Well, he was the real deal, a warrior, a man of incredible honor. He fought bravely, put his life on the line, and above all, he stood faithfully for the king he served, King David. And this dynamic is the key to the whole story. On one side, you have King David. This is the guy described as being a man after God's own heart. And on the other, you have Uriah, a man whose integrity was just absolute. Their whole relationship was supposed to be built on honor and trust. But while Uriah is out there on the battlefield fighting his king's battles, something terrible is happening back home. The king he trusted so much made a choice, a devastating choice that would cost Uriah everything. So this brings us to the dark heart of the story, the king's cruel secret. This is where a single moment of weakness spirals into a cold, calculated betrayal. Here's how it went down. First, David takes Uriah's wife. To cover it up, instead of confessing, he doubles down. He comes up with this sinister plan, writes it all down in a letter, and then, in the ultimate act of deception, he hands that very letter to Uriah to deliver. Can you even imagine? Inside that letter were these words, in order to put Uriah at the front of the fiercest fighting and then abandon him there to die. The faithful soldier Uriah was carrying his own death sentence, sealed by his king's authority, and he had no idea. And what makes this even more tragic is this moment right here. David actually gave Uriah a chance to go home and rest. But Uriah's loyalty was so profound, he refused. He said he couldn't take it easy while his comrades were still in the fight. His honor was unshakable, even as his kings had completely crumbled. Okay, so from our point of view, this story is it's awful. It feels so deeply unjust. But what if there's another perspective? A bigger picture that sees beyond the human betrayal, one that changes the meaning of everything. And this is where the story pivots. Look, Uriah's world was what he could see. He was fighting for his king. His loyalty was his duty. That was his reality. But a heavenly perspective saw it all. It saw the king's betrayal unfolding. And just as importantly, it saw every single act of Uriah's faithfulness being recorded. Nothing was missed. And that brings us to the core lesson of this whole story. Your worth, it's not determined by how people treat you. It's not defined by the people who fail you or overlook you. Your true worth is determined by the God who sees you, period. So if you're feeling hurt or abandoned, please remember this. God is never blind to your pain. He is never absent in your betrayal, and he never ever wastes your faithfulness. Even when it feels like it was all for nothing, it wasn't, not for a second. So what do we do with all this pain, right? How do we actually move forward? Well, let's talk about that, because your story isn't over. It's about turning these deep wounds into a real path toward healing. A moment of betrayal like this puts us at a crossroads. We really have a choice. We can go down the path of bitterness, let that pain harden our hearts, and keep anchoring our trust in people who might fail us. Or we can choose surrender. We can let that pain actually draw us closer to God and anchor our trust in Him instead. You know, these moments, they force us to ask a really tough question. When people let us down, it reveals where our trust was truly anchored all along. Was it in something that could break or something that never can? So, if you feel like Uriah today, if you feel wounded and confused and let down, please hear this. your story is not over. That loyalty you gave, that integrity you showed, it was not meaningless. It was seen. It was recorded. It matters. And even in the middle of all this mess, a story of redemption is still being written. Just like King David eventually had to face what he did, the truth always has a way of coming to light. And that leaves us with one last thought to sit with. It's a tough question, but it's a powerful one. Could it be that this very wound, the one that hurts the most, might actually become a doorway to the deepest healing and trust you've ever known?